Hi guys. Today I'd like to share a concept for grouping notes inside of scales and arpeggios that has helped me a lot through years. There's a lot of patterns coming from this. Let me just loosely play a little bit over it and I'll explain how to do it. It's all about grouping scales and arpeggios in kind of fun drummery types of ways. Let me use it loosely and I'll tell you all about it. I promise I won't go over a chorus, though improv is really addictive. Yeah, I could go on forever. Anyway, the idea is all about subdividing your melodic material, be it scales or chords, and making tons of patterns with that. Let me get right into it. It's kind of fundamental, but it's tricky and really, really fun. Okay, so here goes. We're going to need some imagination. Step one, here's a virtual train. Okay, and you can kind of imagine that it's the chromatic scale and the train is moving along this track, which is kind of, train's position is represented by my first finger. Now let's imagine a train carriage and a person in there. Let's say he can move 4 half steps in this tiny train. Okay, just like that. So notice that the person is ascending 4 notes and the train is also ascending, which is kind of my elbow moving. And imagine the person inside the carriage can move in the same direction as the train, or he can move the opposite direction of the train like this. Okay, so when the train is descending, he'll be going up. And when the train ascends, he'll be going down. And imagine a really third scenario where he goes basically up and down. He's changed directions all the time. So if the train is on the first carriage, it's descending. And when I go to my second carriage, it's ascending. And together I get this. And when I'm descending, it sounds like this. Okay, so far all we have is like kind of a shreddy kind of pattern. We can also say, what if the carriage is tiny, like 2 notes? Or 3 notes. And it's alternate direction. Okay, so you can do all these combinations. Now let's get to the heart of the exercise. So if you have a chromatic scale moving on a single string on the guitar, that's kind of simple to visualize. It's trickier if you're not on the chromatic scale because it's not just moving to an adjacent fret. So if I had the pentatonic scale on a single string, it would be kind of tough. It would be kind of tough to do. Right, a lot of bouncing left and right. So that's why it's hard when you play a vertical scale to see it in the same way, because right now it's like a train track that keeps moving to the next string after any 2 notes. But I can still play the same types of patterns. For example, this pattern, which I would call single direction motion because the person is moving 4 half steps in the same direction as the train, sounds like this, which you probably know from a rock. Right, it's a fun little pattern. And for example, contrary motion foregroup, meaning the train is going in the opposite direction than the person, sounds like this. I'll do it on a single string. It was this. And on a pentatonic scale, it's this. It'll be crazy to do, but I can do it, I think. Right, that's a very tricky thing to do on a single string, but kind of easy on the whole set. Right? Okay, so that's how you get these patterns. Basically, you take that simple idea and then you convert it. Now let me show you how that works on an actual song. So what I'll do is I'll take that idea, I'll use it on a scale, I'll finger my scale 3 notes on each string just for fun. I'll play Stella by Starlight, and my first exercise, I'll just be playing the scales up and down, which metaphorically is like just the train tracks, okay? So I'll just be shifting the scales as I go along. Very difficult and useful exercise if you can manage it. Here, let me start by that, and then I'll show you how the person in the train behave, which is funny. Okay, I kind of hope you got that. That's basically just the tracks. Now let's apply a pattern. So for example, let's take 4 notes. Remember, it's kind of this. It's just a person going with a train on a C major scale. That would, of course, sound like this. Made, of course, complicated because the scales are changing when you're playing jazz standard. So let's apply that. So that would be a single direction motion. The person in the train are aligned, going in groups of 4. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now let's do something more fun. Now I'll take the same example. What I'll be using is the alternating motion, meaning the person in the train is going to go but he'll be doing it on the scales, so okay, I'll do it first of all formally, and then I'll try to do something a little more musical with it. So the formal part, and this is super tough for me anyway. If for you it isn't, then God bless you. Here goes. Okay, let me show you a really cool consequence of this type of thing. So first of all, if I apply this not to a major scale, but rather to the pentatonic scale, I get a train track that has 2 notes on each string. And I can actually apply the patterns. They become very comfortable. For example, alternating 3 group really becomes a very pleasant pattern. Now first I'll drum it super slowly. And my favorite part of having 2 notes on each string, that it's kind of comfortable even for weird things like scale. Right? It sounds so weird, but it's so comfortable. That's the whole tone scale, for example. Or, and the coolest thing is for arpeggios that have 2 notes on each string, for example, G major 7, it becomes really comfortable to do all kinds of patterns that are simply groups of notes on strings. So let me summarize this long lesson. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do here. Step 1, remember the core concepts. We have a train moving on a track. We have single direction motion where you have like a bunch of notes moving in the same direction as the train. We have contrary motion, which is the person in the train moves opposite of the person inside the train carriage moves opposite of the train. Like that. And we have alternating motion, which is the person is either going up or down. He changes direction. Okay, then we apply that concept to a major scale. Instead of this, we do this. Okay, we can apply the same concept to arpeggio. And we finally apply the whole thing to improvisation, which is a lot of fun. So I really hope you enjoyed this super long and difficult lesson. There's a lot of valuable melodic material hiding here. I'm kind of sure of it. Feel free to ask me questions, and sincerely thank you for engaging and watching this. Bye-bye, guys.